Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, today's topic is, you tell me, the art of book distribution. Okay? Is it possible to keep that door closed?
Yeah.
Thank you. So art means there's different components to it. When you hear somebody's an artist, you think, okay, they got some technique, but they also got inspiration. So, to distribute a book is not a mechanical thing. It's not just about sticking something in front of somebody and asking them to give money for it. But people want to feel inspired. Like when you look at art, and there's so many different types of arts, just like you have here some wonderful examples. And some of the art that you find in our Krishna conscious books is very kind of simple, especially the early paintings. Have you ever looked at the early Krishna book, at the first edition Krishna book, with the many, many pictures that are there, when the artist just started out? And it looked quite naive, it looked a little childish, but it was very attractive. So Srila Prabhupada mentioned that don't teach them techniques, teach them how to be sincere. Because techniques, they will develop naturally as you go along. But sincerity is of the essence. Sincerity means to be without duplicity, not to have ulterior motive, not to have another agenda. So we should ask ourselves, what is my intention? Intent is everything. When I go out to share Krishna's message, why am I doing what am I doing? Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita that the best way how to do any type of activity is to do it simply as a matter of duty, to carry out the order of the higher personality, of the person who has given that instruction, without any personal attachment to either loss or failure. Just like when you go out and distribute a book. Sometimes people take, sometimes they don't take. Sometimes they praise you, sometimes they insult you. Sometimes they are very, very appreciative. Sometimes they are very casual or unimpressed. So all the different scenarios may occur if we get emotionally unstable because we become elated or we become rejected, then it will make it very difficult to go on with this activity. So, every person in this world has two main type of fears. The first fear is a fear of rejection, and the other one is a fear of identity. Just like when you hear, okay, I should go out and share Krishna consciousness. Immediately your mind tells you, what if somebody says no? What if somebody says, no, I don't want that, that's not good, or you look stupid, huh? Has your mind ever told you that? What if I look stupid? Huh? What if I'll be rejected? So, and fear of identity. I'm not a bookseller. I'm not a this, I'm not a that. Oh, I will be perceived in this way, I'll be perceived in that way. Both of these fears, they stem from a mentality that's based on ignorance. If we are not knowledgeable about our activity, about our position, about our service, then we will harbor so many of these fears. Arjuna is asking Krishna, to please dispel all the doubts. And he's addressing him as Madhusudana, the killer of the Madhu demon. Doubts are compared to demons because... Could somebody please tell our friends out there to party somewhere else or to be a little more quiet? Thank you. So, doubts are compared to demons because they can ruin our enthusiasm, our inspiration. Just like I remember from school, one of the usual scenarios that the teacher would just pass out blank sheets of paper and say, okay, it's a test now. Write 800 words on such and such a topic. And your mind just went blank. Did you ever have that experience? And you're under the gun. No, it's crunch time. You have to perform now. Okay, you got to deliver now. So, even though you know a few things, but if you feel uncomfortable, you'll not be capable to actually deliver. So in the same way, how to overcome that fear in outreach? Well, first of all, by understanding that to share Krishna consciousness with others is the most natural, is the most easy, and is the most pleasing activity that any devotee could ever do. Because when you develop an appreciation for the holy name, the first thing you want to do is you want to continuously chant. So, and I'm sure you've all had the experience that you came to the temple or you had a program which was so inspiring that you just were very happy in your own Krishna consciousness. And you just went through the day chanting that melody and, you didn't really care what anybody was thinking, how anybody would respond to you. You were just really content and happy in your own Krishna consciousness. Did you ever have that experience? There was no fear of rejection, there was no fear of identity, there was no fear of all these sorts. So, to be content and happy in Krishna consciousness is the foundational principle of outreach, because people will take one look at you and they will decide, do I want to listen to this person or not? Do I want to become like this person or not? Because that is what they are actually buying into. It's not about buying a book. It's about buying into a lifestyle. It's about buying into a philosophy. It's about buying into a role model. And they will decide from their gut feeling, yes, this is appealing, or no, this is not appealing. So the most attractive way to share Krishna consciousness is by following Srila Prabhupada's primary instruction of chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Because happy devotees are attractive. So once you're blissful in Krishna consciousness, when people meet you, their only question will be, how can I become like you? Have you ever had people who, in a few words, slightly different, but in a few words, had that same question on their mind? Okay, how do I become like you? Or what does it take to do like what you're doing? And it's quite sobering. It's actually quite shocking to some extent when people very blankly and very blatantly ask you that question. And it may come across in different ways. Sometimes people may say, what's your tip? What's your idea? What works for you? Or how can you... What would you do if you would be in my situation? They phrase it differently. But what they actually mean is, how can I become like you? But because that's not usually something that's socially acceptable, to say, so they word it in very sophisticated ways. But that's actually what they're saying. How can I become like you? And then, we have to look into our own hearts and say, well, okay, now the guard is down, the person doesn't have any obstruction, any defense, any confusion. They're just, okay, tell me. What is it? And then you like, gig. It's like, come on. There's an opening here. There's a window of opportunity. It may be once in a lifetime. Maybe a few milliseconds. Somehow Krishna has just lifted all the clouds. All the fog is gone. And that person has trust in you. And says, you be my teacher. You tell me right now. Whatever you tell me right now, I'll do it. If you say, go jump from the roof, I'll go jump from the roof. If you say, I'm ready to take that leap of faith. You will meet people like that. Regularly on the street. The question is, am I ready? Am I ready to be that guide, to tell them? What will I give them? Will I just give them my own superficial understanding of Krishna consciousness? Will I just expose them to the madness of my own mind? Or will I actually be able to say something, to give them something meaningful, which will connect, and which will actually be that missing link to get them closer to Krishna? Now what I have seen is that Bhakti Sibhushan, Sankirtan is the school of life. Whatever you want to learn in life, don't go and get a degree. You can learn it on Sankirtan. Now of course, if you want to become a doctor or a mechanical engineer, you may also have to go and get your degree. But if you want to be just a happy human being and a happy devotee, learn the art of Sankirtan. Which means that we're not feeling alienated, we're not feeling insecure, we're not feeling confused, but we're ready to share our realization. People are not impressed by knowledge. People are impressed by realization. They don't want eternal life. They want happiness that lasts forever. Have you ever heard the thing about eternal life? Different religions professing that they will grant you eternal life. But it's not a hot product. It's not in demand. It's not a commodity that's really appealing. Eternal life. What do? Sit on a cloud and play a harp for eternity? What do? They want happiness that lasts forever. And you can only give what you got. So our first and foremost duty is to experience happiness ourselves in Krishna consciousness by having a strict sadhana, because all the potency comes from our own spiritual practice. If we don't have taste, how can we give taste to others? But again, sometimes we may act above our pay grade, and we may become empowered by Krishna to say things and to do things that are impossible for our level. A couple of months ago, I was in Rishikesh at the International Yoga Festival, and I brought 10 boys. We did Harinam Sankirtan through the town of Rishikesh and distributed books and prasadam. And I showed a book, Perfection of Yoga, to a yoga teacher from Ukraine. And he was about my age, middle-aged guy, mid-40s. So, and I saw he was kind of unimpressed, a little blasé. So, I realized I cannot get this person to buy the book. He's a yoga teacher, he's already of a certain age, he's of a certain psychological, intellectual disposition. Very, very difficult to persuade this person. Like sometimes you have people who you realize that the more I talk, the worse it gets. I will just lose this guy. So better just shut up and say nothing. So I just stood there and smiled, and I just prayed intently in my heart. And I thought, okay, I'm just waiting till he says no so I can move on. And he looked at me, and he looked at the book, and he looked at me, and he said something very unusual. He said, I feel love coming from your heart. I want to take this book. How much is it? And now that's quite unusual, because this person is from the Ukraine. You just killed it. Haribol. You just turned it off, yeah. So, Hare Krishna. That's quite unusual. He's not like a sentimental kind of a person, you know. So, consciousness creates reality. Whatever is in your consciousness, whatever is in your heart, in your mind, tomorrow it will become reality. You can write that down in your little notebooks. Consciousness creates reality. Homework, reality check. What is in my heart and in my head? Because tomorrow it will be your life. So that's the good news and that's the bad news. That's the scary news. Huh? Sankirtan means to dovetail my desires with the desires of the Lord. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared to share this mercy, this Krishna prema with everybody. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, I've created a marketplace of the holy name. I myself, I'm the sweeper. I'm not the boss, I'm the sweeper. Mahaprabhu came with all these fruits of Krishna prema. But, unfortunate as the living entities in Kali Yuga are, there's no buyers. There's nobody there who wants it. So what is he saying? He's saying, I'm ordering every man, woman and child to help me to distribute this Krishna prema to all the living entities. You please help me and give these gifts to everybody. That will become your greatest contribution. And I'm sold out to any person who's trying to distribute these gifts. So, some people may be resentful, some people may be appreciative. Never mind. Vijay Prabhu was telling me that he was going around distributing books, and there's an open cafe, and there's a man sitting, and he was reading from what looked like a portion of a book. So he asked the man, what are you reading? And the man said, I'm reading a part of Bhagavad Gita. He said, I found it on the street. Like sometimes you wonder what happens to those books that people tear up or throw away, or, you know. It happens sometimes, because people are delusional. So, he found a part of the Bhagavad Gita. And he said, this is great, but I really wonder, where is the rest of the book? That was his question. And Vijay said, today's your lucky day. It's here. Huh? So, the people are out there. I was in Bangkok on Khao San Road, and there's a young couple from the UK, and the lady said, this morning I woke up in my hotel room and I was thinking it'd be nice to read Bhagavad Gita. Ta-da! And here is Bhagavad Gita, same day. So people are looking. Little Jiva is roaming the universe. Where is beauty? Where is fame? Where is strength? Where is wealth? Where is all these things? So what are they looking for?
Krishna.
Krishna. And you have Krishna, because Prabhupada has given us Krishna in the form of these wonderful books. But are we capable of appreciating that? That is the question. So by strict sadhana, by chanting our rounds and diligently every morning, before we go out, by reading Srila Prabhupada's books on a daily basis, we develop our appreciation, we develop our taste, and we develop this prayerful mood. And then, second rule, you all know the 4 laws of book distribution? Have you heard of this before? No? Okay, the first law is strict sadhana. The second one is get books, because you can't distribute books that you don't have. Yesterday I went and I visited my friend Ekachakra Prabhu. He came and picked me up. We went over to Windsor, went to the BBT, saw the new hardcover Bhagavad Gitas that just arrived, by the way. Many, many, many thousands. So, the drought is over, okay? The books are back. Alright? So, and then we went to the local pool. And as I got out of the car, there was a young guy, maybe 27, 28, and he just got out of his ute. And we talked to him, how you going? How you going? Which is the usual introduction here. So, And we started chatting. And if I wouldn't have Prabhupada's books on me, all I would have to give him is my own insignificant self. But I carried 2 of Prabhupada's books in my pocket. So I just took out Perfection of Yoga. So I asked him, do you work out or you just eat a lot? Because he looked a little buff. And he said, no, I'm working out. I'm going to the gym now. I'm going to do a few weights. And he was very responsive because I appreciated his, most precious self, his body. Finally somebody who has recognized me, my body. So, the books on yoga meditation teaches you how to get free from stress. Have you heard of stress before? And he's working in construction, this, that, and the other thing. And I spoke about karma. I asked him, do you believe in karma? He said, karma is real. I'm really into karma. So I also had the other book, Beyond Birth and Death. I gave him that one. And he took them and he gave me $5. And it's seemingly a non-event. But most likely, for that fellow, it was the most important event in his entire life. So now, he's got the chance to make the next move. The ball is in his court. The point I'm trying to make here is that if you're not carrying the books, what can you give people? A smile, a few words. Oh, go to North Sydney, Falcon Street, 180, across the park. Their books are there. How many people will show up? Maybe 20, maybe 50. But if you carry the books wherever you go, and I know you go places, because that's what little Jiva does. Little Jiva goes places. So you go to the bank, you go to the post office, you go to the store, you go to the restaurant, you go to the job, you go to the subway. And wherever anybody just looks at you and goes like, hey. You know that moment when people look at you and they go like, hey. And you go like, hey. And then it's, okay, what? And they say like, what? Hey, what? Okay, what is it? What you got? And if all you got is your own imagination and your own superficial mental projection, it's just not good enough. We can do better than that. Then you've got to actually be able to give them Krishna. And to say, look, this is good. This has helped me. This has helped countless people. So please take it. It will also benefit you. And believe it or not, many people will. Why? Because they trust you. Now trust is the rarest commodity. 99% of the time people are not doing things, they're not obliging because of a lack of trust. Now we know trust is built by non-enviousness, selfless service attitude, balance of maturity, and consideration. Trust has to be earned. So by the degree that we develop our trust in Krishna and in the process of Krishna consciousness, to that degree, people will trust you. Sounds scary, huh? Isn't it? To the degree that we have developed our trust in the process, to that degree, people will trust us. They'll just look at you and they'll know, yeah, I can trust this person. This guy's for real. Or, nah, I don't think so. This guy just wants my money, or this guy just wants something else. Because Krishna is there in the heart and you can't fake it. So, strict sadhana, always carry books. Rule number 3, the more you show, the more you sell. You got to take the book out of the pocket, out of the bag, out of your purse, out of your car, and actually put it in the hand of the person. The more you show, the more you sell. You have to make it visible. You have to put it right there. And you know the hand? It's got a mind of its own. It wants to grab stuff. Because little Jiva is roaming in this universe and it wants to enjoy. So it wants to grab stuff. And you'd be surprised. When you just put the books out, people will actually want to grab them. They will want to take them. So, and rule number 4, you have to be organized. Like Sydney is a very, very wonderful city because it's a great opportunity for preaching. There's people from the whole world who are here. All different mindsets, all different interest groups. It's unlimited opportunities for distributing Krishna consciousness. But we have to see the opportunities. Otherwise we'll be limiting ourselves. Just like right now we have a few brahmacharis and they're going out on the street and distributing books. And that's wonderful. That's great. We should have a few hundreds. No? But we could also get some traveling vans and send them, off the coasts and different places and go out and meet people there. And we could also cultivate the congregation and make inroads so that people will come forward and also do book distribution, door to door. In ISKCON Silicon Valley, I was just in California, they're going door to door and selling Bhagavatam sets. They sold 145 Bhagavatam sets over a few months by going door to door. Just presenting the Bhagavatam. They've placed 300,000 Bhagavad Gitas in different hotels and motel rooms. How? There's a plan. You got to organize. Huh? How you do it? You tell me. You're the smart guys. Huh? You're the engineers. You're the guys with the degrees. So, Krishna, he is reciprocating with the desire of his devotees. Just like Srila Prabhupada, he mentioned, I did not go to Tompkins Square Park to attract the crowd. I went there simply to try to glorify Krishna. And Krishna reciprocated. Because Krishna is responsive. He's personal. He's the supreme person. So wherever we have a desire, Krishna responds. How to cultivate the right desires? It depends on our association. It depends on our meditation, on our mood. Once in Mayapur, before leaving Mayapur, I asked my spiritual master, how can I serve him better? And he mentioned 4 rules, 4 things, very similar to the 4 rules of book distribution. Number 1, he said, strict sadhana. Number 2, exemplary character. Number 3, always striving for unity. And number 4, to be enthusiastic. Striving for unity means I'm not a separatist. I'm not just into my own thing. But I'm a team player. You see, we're trying to reach so many people. It's not possible just by one person. How many people can you talk to in any given day? If you run really fast, because you had a lot of breakfast.
200 maybe?
200 maybe, yeah. How many people are there in the greater Sydney area? 5.2 million. So even though you may run a little faster and jump a little higher, it will still not really do the trick, right? But if we build our team, because we see there's 5.2 million and I can't reach them, right now there is 9 of us, but if we expand and it'd be 90 of us, at ISV, ISKCON Silicon Valley, Mountain View Temple, there is 0 resident brahmacharis. But when they have marathons, there is up to 500 people going out distributing books. Ganashyam. Can you imagine having 500 people going out on books? Pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Where would they all go? No, they will not all go to the same mall. Mostly they work their own neighborhoods. They go door to door. They have their own places. And so in this way, they're able to reach a lot of people. But it means we need to get out of our own little bubble, out of our own little comfort zone. So it is a team effort. We need people who are web designers, who are social media people. I have a friend in Slovakia, Michael. He talks to 300,000 people through social media. And that's Slovakia. There is only 3 million people. So every 10th person in the country is on his mailing list. Would you like to talk to 10% of the Australian population? That'd be pretty good, huh? That would actually be a useful way of using social media. Huh? Not like this is the picture of me taking breakfast and this is the picture of me getting out of the shower, and all that kind of spectacularly important news, He's posting verses of Gita and Bhagavatam 5 times a day. Just putting it out there. When he calls a meeting, 80 new people will just show up. They'll just show up. People you had never met before. Because he has a way of contacting, connecting with them. So it's a team effort. That's the topic also of the Bhagavatam that we're discussing right now, of this whole Varnashram system. That it's a team effort. That the different Varnas and Ashramas are working together in order to help people to develop their attraction for Krishna. So for me, that is what is Bhakti Sibhushan. That is what is preaching. It's not just about going on the street a few hours and saying, okay, I done my 20, 30 or 50 books, job done. Now I can go back and do whatever I want to do. But it's seeing the bigger picture, seeing the opportunities. And here in Australia, you've created so much goodwill by Prashad Distribution, by festivals, by Harinam, by Rath Yatra, by preaching. And people like us. What do we do with it? Are we actually doing something with all that goodwill? Or are we just feeling good about ourselves, that people like us? No. We should actually do something with it. What's our time estimate today? 12. Okay, so I will take some questions and reflections at this point. Yes?
Many times we basing how successful our day is on the number of books that go out, or even our motivation on, like if people not taking, you can get demotivated. So how to find that? We should endeavor to get the result, because the result is important, but in one sense we should be detached.
What's the verse from the Bhagavad Gita? Mafaleshu kadachana, matfalasanga heturbur, matesvangostva karmani. What's the beginning? Karmani evadikaraste mafaleshu kadachana. You learned that shloka. What's the number? I need somebody with a brain who works.
247.
247? You got the book? If you forget, look it up. 247. Yep, 247 it is. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you're not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. So, what does that mean? It means, don't just sell the books, you got to read the books. Read a chapter of Gita every day, just the shlokas, but just keep on reading a chapter every day. You will read the Gita twice in a month. After a few months, the whole thing will start to sink in. It will start to actually make sense. It will crystallize. And when you get these doubts, you can just pull out the shloka. And you're there. You know where it is. Read the verse and the purport. Your question will be answered. Okay? Right now, you have the misconception, if I produce a big result, I'm doing fantastic. But Krishna is not impressed by big results, even if it's big book results. How long can you last with that mentality? What do you reckon?
You burn out.
You burn out. Because one day the result's there, the next day the result's not there. And then your mind freaks out. Oh, this guy beat me. But I'm better than that guy. Why did he beat me? He's just Bhakta Joe, you know, he just came yesterday. But I came last week. So I'm supposed to be the big guy, the honcho, you know, I'm supposed to be the guy who knows what's going on, you know. But this kid does more than I do. I saw it happen. I joined when I was 15. I put everything I had on Bhakti Sibhushan. Everything. My whole madness. Everything on Bhakti Sibhushan. And, you know, my star was rising, and I saw a few other people going down. Because they thought, who is this crazy kid? How can he do twice as much as I do? This is not fair. And they stopped. But one day it's great, one day it's not so great. One day will be pretty terrible. When the body went out with me, distributing books, he knocked on the door. The lady said, wait a minute. She went to the back, she got a box of books, opened the door, put the box of books on his stack and slammed the door in his face. On that day, his score was minus 1 Bhagavatam set. Somebody gave him a set back. That's quite discouraging, right? But if you're Krishna conscious, you just realize, hey, maybe Krishna just didn't want to stay with that person, you know? He wanted to go somewhere else. Big deal. Okay, thank you. You understand? So don't be externally attached to numbers, because numbers are always fluctuating. They're never stagnant. Be attached to doing your duty, but not to the result of your duty. Knowing fully well it's in Krishna's hands. That doesn't justify a mediocre result, but it just shows you actually read the books and understand the philosophy. Otherwise, you will get frustrated, because this world is a frustrating place. People are just not complying with your desires. You will meet people who will say, I want that book. I really want it, but I will not get it from you, because I don't like the way how you talk to me. I'll get it from that little girl over there. I think she's a nice person. You will have people who will praise you. You will have people who insult you. If your mind is somehow getting elated or depressed, it will crack. Like any building, any structural engineer can tell you, the fastest way how to break anything is you expose it to great heat and great cold. There's too much of a difference. There's too much of a difference of temperature or of emotions. That's also how you crack a mind. But to become Stitadir Muni, to have an equal mind, to be equipoised, that's the main topic of the Gita. To have a steady mind. You see, I'm much more in favor of group results. It's nice you're reading your results to the DDs. This one did 1 book, this one did 5 books, this one did 50 books, Kijai, Kijai. I'm interested to know, what is Team Sydney doing? That's what I'm interested in. Now, you amongst yourself, you may have your little competitions and all that stuff. That's fine. We had that in our day. You know, it's permissible. It's okay. But you have to know it only goes up to a certain extent. If you want to continue and you want to actually evolve, you got to go beyond that. Otherwise, if it's like, oh, okay, I did my 5 books, but what cost? At what expense? How many others did I push down? How many others, you know? No. We should see how can the whole team come up. That's really what's important. Who cares if you score a century, if your team loses? Nobody cares. Huh? It's a team effort. So read the Gita every day. Whenever you get a little doubtful, it's because you're not in touch with Krishna's message of the Gita. It's all explained. Okay? You should have a study program. Are you guys doing Bhakti Shastri? Yeah. And then Bhakti Vaibhava? And Bhakti Vedanta? Bhakti Sarvabhauma? Hopefully, yeah. Step by step. It's work in progress, you know? Because I can't tell people that they should do something that I'm not ready to do myself. That makes me a hypocrite. Like I was going around ISKCON preaching and telling people surrender to Guru, surrender to Guru, surrender to Guru. But I was asking myself, am I surrendering to Guru? That is the big question. Am I doing it? Or is it just nice to tell other people? So we have to ask ourselves, am I taking the medicine? Am I following the process? That's why Sankirtan is wonderful, because it gives us this analysis, self-analysis, which is very difficult in this day and age. You can go to a shrink, you can go and look in the mirror all you like. How much of self-analysis will you get? Not a very accurate reading. But you take up 1 book. You just pick up 1 book, you walk out on the street and you start talking to people. I can guarantee you, within 5 minutes you'll have a very accurate reading. You want to get your chakra reading? You want to know whether you're spiritual mojo, whether you're actually capable of reaching people? Just go out and share these books with people. It's very helpful. And at first, you'll be surprised, because Krishna gives you very amazing taste, and very amazing realization, and very amazing results. Seemingly as a gift. Like there is, just as a bonus. Later on you have to earn it. You have to work for it a little harder. But initially it's just given, very easily. So, Prabhupada said, I only have one criticism to my followers. They do not read my books enough. Don't just be busy, 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 busy. Work, 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 work. You have to have time to actually read the books. Otherwise, people's trust will be compromised because they can sense that this person is, they're not feeling it. They're not feeling that trust because we're not really putting our trust into Krishna's words. We have some other type of ideas that we're pursuing. So even though you may be in the height of a marathon, there may be competition, there may be this, there may be that, always keep on reading. And you will see how every verse, how every word will give you nourishment, will give you solace. You can chew on it and you can go deeper into it, and it will give you great strength and inspiration and perseverance. You can use these verses and just tell them to people. Like I was doing Nectar of Instruction, just showing people the first shloka, Vacha Vegam Manasa Krota Vegam, reading the translation. Person who is controlled, the urge to speak, the desire of anger, etc., etc., is qualified to make disciples all over the world. In other words, master the self, you master the world. People become convinced just by hearing one shloka. What is your favorite shloka? This is your homework. Make a list of your favorite shlokas and learn how to preach, how to use them in your presentation of Krishna consciousness. You may not say the whole big thing, but you may just give the essence. And you'll see how that will actually have impact. There's three things that determine our preaching impact. It's called the outreach index. The first is visibility. Are you actually visible? Can people perceive you? Can they actually see that you're there? If not, it's very hard for them to relate. The second thing, is it relevant? Relevant to them. Does it have a correlation? Is there a connection between what you show them and what you tell them and their life? Or is it a complete disconnect? Is there a bridge? And then the third, these two, they will actually affect the impact. Is there an impact? Does the person feel, yes, this is something that is an opportunity? So this is our outreach index. This is how we can measure it. Right now, we're hardly visible. People say, I haven't seen you guys forever. Where are you people? Because we're not really that visible. We could be much more visible. Relevance? Well, we have to ask ourselves, are we relevant? Not just to the few that I meet every day, but in a cultural context also. Are we relevant to the non-Indians? Are we relevant to the non-Russian or non-Slavic? Are we relevant to the youth, to the professionals, to the older people? Are we relevant to them? They will ask, what's your contribution? What's your idea for our target group? Then we have to know, are we relevant to them or not? So these are questions that should be asked, that should be reflected upon. Srila Prabhupada did the same thing when he came and he shared Krishna consciousness. Because sharing Krishna consciousness in India had been a very different affair than what he was used to when he came to the West. But Srila Prabhupada made this adjustment to present Krishna consciousness in a culturally relevant context, so people could relate to him and they could appreciate his message. That is his great contribution. So in the same way, when we read the books with an attentive mind, we'll become enabled to make that connection, to see what is relevant for this person that I'm talking to right now. Okay? And then you'll be very encouraged, you'll be very enthusiastic to share the books. I was at the airport in Montreal, day before yesterday, and I met a blue-collared worker. He came towards me and he wore one of these working type shirts where the name tag is there and the company's tag is there. You've seen those? So I just smiled at him, said his name, shook hands, and he was like quite distraught. He was like, "Do you have a moment? I need to speak to somebody, you know. Can we speak? Do you have a moment? Can we speak?" And I was, "Yeah, sure." So we talked, and it turns out he's one of the top guys in training for the oil and gas industry worldwide, working for the biggest oil and gas exploration company out of Texas. And he's the trainer for safety. For every new valve, every new product that comes out, he's the guy who has to go all over the world to train the people in that. But he had issues in his life, so he needed somebody to talk to. And because I was willing to hear him out and to talk with him on the level that he needed to express himself, he was very appreciative. He took all the books I had and contributed. And it was very, very real. So this kind of connection can happen many times a day. When we're ready to put aside our expectations, our ideas, our own systematized, mechanical understanding of what outreach or preaching is. To me, it sums up very easy. Preaching, outreach means I care. Why? Because Krishna cares, because Prabhupada cares. And people sense, they feel, okay, there's somebody who cares for me. They feel that. And to the degree that they feel that, to that degree they will trust us, they will lower their guard, they will lower their defense mechanisms, and they will actually expose themselves. If we are ready to extend ourselves beyond the call of duty, it's not enough to say, "Oh, I was out there. I did my job. I did my duty." No. We have to actually care. Then people are ready to reciprocate and to pay you back in the same currency that you have put out there. Any other questions? Yes?
Sometimes we have this experience in the street when we put the book out in people's hand and we make a presentation. According to us, we made the best presentation possible, but it wasn't good enough, they just rejected. Sometimes we know like we fumble halfway through and we know this guy is not going to take, but he still ends up taking. So question is it anything that's in our head? Like, I mean, we still do the same japa, we read same japa in the sense, like from our side, we try our best. What is it that determines our attempt to be appealing to people at certain times?
It's Krishna's fault. It's really in his hand. But he reciprocates with our desire. And when he sees that we're actually a little helpless, we're a little detached, you know, that's attractive. It's attractive to Krishna and it's attractive to people on the street. But if we are too sure of ourselves and we're too self-absorbed, it becomes very repulsive. People immediately back off, you know. It's like I went out in Toronto. There was the Toronto Pride. Have you heard of the Toronto Pride? There was 1 million of happy people roaming the town. It was a big festival. And my mantra was, a little pride is good, but too much pride is not good. It's dangerous. And I could see people were on a different planet. They were on a different tangent. They had a different idea. But because I tried to connect, still people reciprocated. And the books went out. The point I'm trying to make is it's not so much what comes out of your mouth, it's more what is your attitude, what is your message, what are you projecting. That is what actually will impact the people. Very few people actually listen and pay attention to what you say. Very few people. So you can have the smartest mantras and the best kind of moves and the greatest look and everything can be just perfect till the alarm goes off and ruins all your great plans. And the person says, no, not going to take it. I'm just not going to take it. So can you live with that? That's the question. Can you catch where you went off? And can you bring it back to Krishna consciousness? That's the question. Like one thing that I tell people, and I feel they're a little disconnected from me. One strategy is to thank them. Thank you very much for coming here. Okay? You just thank people. Just start thanking people. Put a little gratefulness out there, you know? This is for all the nice people. This is for all the hardworking people. This is for all the best dressed people. This is for all the intelligent, the smart. This is for all the, you know, whatever. Just put out a little bit of gratitude. It does the trick, you know. People, they relate to it. Another thing, when you make jokes about yourself, but not about other people. Like I tell people. I'm teaching about gratitude and humility. Look around you. Do you see any students? Do you see anybody interested in this stuff? No. So I'm trying to learn it myself. And that's the hard part. Because teaching the world is easy, but convincing this guy, that's the hard part. So don't project yourself as the be-all, know-it-all, smart guy. Put yourself out there and be reasonable. Just be moderate. Just be yourself, your happy, jolly self. People will be attracted. They will connect to that. But if you're trying to be anything but that and you're riding on our high holy horse, they will do anything, say anything to knock you off that horse. It's just the way of the world. So, and Krishna is always reciprocating, he's always responsive. When he sees that we're actually sincerely pursuing. Sometimes you say the wrong things and you do the wrong things and they still take the book. And sometimes everything is perfect, but it just doesn't work. Sometimes Krishna lets you get away with it. That's also possible. It's a question for how long. So it's a gradual process. We should be able to improve ourselves. That's why Sankirtan is wonderful, because it's an opportunity to improve. It's like when you chant japa. When you chant japa, there is no seeming result. Who are you going to impress? Oh, I chanted 64 rounds last Ekadashi, you know. So what? Big deal, you know. Haridas Thakur chanted 3 lakhs of names, 300,000 names every single day before he took any food or water. So, we can't impress Krishna. Other people, who cares whether they're impressed or not? So the ultimate frontier, the ultimate challenge is our own false ego. And that's what we're facing. So Sankirtan is the ultimate martial arts fighting challenge. This is full contact. This is the real combat. Are you ready to face yourself? This is what outreach means. You're ready to face yourself, because you will be reflecting yourself in others. And this is how you cut and refine diamonds. By friction. So living in the association of devotees and engaging in outreach, this is what refines our character. But it doesn't happen if we fall asleep, or if we are switched off, or we're in our own little bubble. Then Krishna and Maya, they will make our bubble burst. For now it may look like a very nice bubble, because we've painted our bubble, in many nice colors. We've made it very comfortable and cozy. But it's still a bubble, and it will not last. So to have that faith that whatever happens, Krishna is there, and He's really helping me to come closer to Him, that conviction, Shraddha Shabde Viswas Kahe, Sudrida Nishchoy, Sarva Karma? No. You know the shloka? No. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kahe, Sudrida Nishchoy, Sarva Karma, Kaila Samakrita Hai. 2 words are missing. Still a little bit over the ocean somewhere. So, by tomorrow we should be here, actually caught up with things. So that deep faith, that deep conviction that Krishna is there in every situation and He's reciprocating is very exciting. Very exciting. To meet Krishna on Sankirtan. That's the question we should ask ourselves. What am I excited about in life? Is there anything that gets you excited? So, we should be excited for Krishna. Other questions? Yes.
Thank you, bro, for an inspiring class. First part of the class, I hope so. On the book distribution, we can feel that some places are like more favorable or more books go out, while other places are not that great. So like if I compare, one place will go 100 books out and other place like 2 books out or 3 books out. Can be because of people are not that reciprocative or they just not take the books. Should we still go to those places where books are not going out because like Krishna is ultimately a doer? So should we try in those places or just focus on there where it's going out?
You're a brahmachari, right? You're following authority, right? So it's not your call. You can give feedback and tell your authority, that place, it was kind of not so nice. Your authority will say, yeah, but these people also need the mercy, and if you surrender, devotees have done great there also. In 1986, the Swiss Yatra inherited 250,000 French books because of some problem that was there in France. All of a sudden the books went from France to Italy and to Switzerland. So we all of a sudden have 250,000 big and big books. So somebody needs to distribute them. So I got ordered, commissioned to go to the French part and to sell those books. And I went. It took us 7 years to distribute those books. They're very big, very expensive, and the people were not very responsive. But we did it. And it was very formative for our Krishna consciousness to do that. Now that was the same time when the wall in Berlin came down. Which year was that? Anybody remembers when the Berlin Wall came down? Somewhere late 80s. So devotees went into East Germany and people were throwing money at them. They'd never seen books like that. Any new bhakta would do 200 books a day, 300 books a day. And they had these German books, which were very cheap and very attractive. And we had the great classics of India. First canto, 1 volume. Third canto, 1 volume. Fourth canto, 1 volume. BBT price was more than $20 a book. So you have to sell it for more than that. Otherwise you lose. So my mind was saying, this is not very nice. These guys are going over there. They're doing thousands of books. And here I'm beating my head against a rock and trying to sell these books. But it's following the instructions of my superiors. And I did that for a while. And then all of a sudden I get the call from Mayapur. I should go to Mayapur and become the GBC minister for Bhakti Sibhushan, and I should travel the world. So I put my nose to the grinding stone for 7 years down there in Geneva. And Krishna has his own plan. So we should have faith in the plan of Krishna. As soon as we make our own moves, we have our own plans, we're walking on very thin ice. You can still give feedback to your leader. Once I asked my Sankirtan leader, Harinamananda Prabhu, where are we going to go today to distribute? And he said, wrong question. I said, why wrong question? He said, that's not your department. It's not your problem. It's the leader's responsibility to figure out the best place where to put his men. It's not your call. Your duty is to make the best out of every encounter, out of every situation. And you'll realize how you, as you mentioned, can be in pretty terrible places. And you have pretty fantastic days. And sometimes you're in pretty fantastic places and you have pretty terrible days. So it really does matter about what is our consciousness. Otherwise you just become a festival and Sunday and sunshine devotee. I can only function when the party's on. But Monday morning, I'm back to my usual erratic, grumpy self. But we should not be fair-weather devotees. When Krishna sees that we're up for it, that we're serious and sincere, Krishna can empower you. He can invest energy into you. Without resistance, there won't be any development of any strength. So without obstruction, without difficulty, what question is there of glorious victory if there is no struggle, no fight to attain it? You can stand in front of an Indian store or you can go to Gujarat. People will throw money at you. People will throw flowers at you. They will give chanda. They will bathe your feet. Don't get any ideas. I'm just telling you. You could feel like a holy cow, you know? Everybody pets you and feeds you stuff. But is that what we joined for? Not what I joined for. I joined because I saw some people who were revolutionary, some people who were ready to sacrifice, to go the extra mile, to do something that people ordinarily don't do. If you just want to play it easy, there's 100 different ways how to play it easy, even in Krishna consciousness. But maybe that's not what you signed up for. I know that's not what I signed up for. So we have to know, what is it that I'm looking for? Otherwise we'll be disappointed. We're not in a mutual self-admiration club where we just pat each other's backs and say, you're okay, I'm okay, and we all go home happy. Meanwhile, the whole thing goes to hell. No. There are serious issues, there are serious problems. And Krishna consciousness is the positive alternative, is empowering us, is giving us the ability to realize that. So don't become a fair-weather devotee or a result junkie where you just have to get your fix, your dose of success. And if success is not there, you're gone the next day to find your success somewhere else. It's not very impressive. We're not looking for that because it's very fleeting. Don't be a shooting star. Huh? Even what's the use of all these little stars, you know? One moon can light up the entire sky. We flew here for 15 hours. It was night. It was Purnima. And right next by my window I could see the big moon. It was very clear. It was very nice. Chanting japa. The whole plane was asleep. Everybody was knocked out. So, go for the essence. Don't get distracted by these so-called successes and failures in life. Other points? Yes.
Prabhu, just relating to the experience you had with the blue-collar person in the airport, my question is, I get to meet a lot of people in the temple on the weekdays when I come with my kid for the aarti and everything. So it's kind of get chatting up and asking them different things. But what I feel is like
if I try to distribute a book, ask them money, I feel like, oh, he talked to me so nice to distribute the book. So how do you make that transition from just having a nice relationship to actually making them get a book?
You have to actually make that connection, you see? That's very easy. So you talk to people, you ask them the basic stuff, where you're from, what do you do here, how long you been in Australia, what's your job, how are the kids doing? The usual stuff, right? Seemingly gossipy type of stuff. Just to make them comfortable. Okay, he's a nice guy, he appreciates me, he takes interest in me. Then you ask them, have you been coming here regularly? They may say, no, this is my first time. So, you take them out, you show them the Bhagavad Gita, either here or out there on the book rack. Have you seen this before? They may say yes, they may say no, it doesn't matter. You still get the book, So you can say, for every visitor, this is a special time of the year, it's Purushottam Mas, have you heard about this special month? Anything that you do now and anything that you give in charity counts 1,000 times. So we're giving you the opportunity of a lifetime. Can you also please make a small contribution? And 99% of the people will respond positive. So it's a smooth transition. You don't even blink an eye. It just goes, one smooth motion. Why? Because you have done it so many times. So it takes a little practice. Initially it's a little bumpy, You still have to, okay, how do I show the book and how do I hold it and, what do I tell them and not tell too much and not tell too little, After a while you start to learn how to dose it. To speak enough about them so they feel comfortable, but then to bridge it and bring it to, because you're the one who initiated the dialogue. So he who asks the questions controls the conversation. You just keep on asking the right questions and you lead them where you want them to go. I know where I want them to go. I want them to go out there to that book rack and to get a stack of books and give something. And then you take their contact and you invite them back. You can tell them, we have so many hundreds of families who come here regularly. We have children's programs on the weekends. We have arts, drama, Sanskriti, shlokas, this and that. Because you come here to Australia not to become an idiot, but you become here to develop your Atma, your spiritual connection with the Lord. And everybody would agree on that. So, you're not like asking them to do something that they don't want to do. You're just helping them by showing them the process. And some will be more appreciative, and some will be a little emotionally distant. That's okay. The doctor is not becoming depressed because some of his patients are not, very responsive. You have to know what is your task. By reading the books and developing our own appreciation and faith, and by seeing how these books change countless people's lives, we develop this strong sense of urgency. When I hear Prabhupada's lectures, I sense a strong sense of urgency. Has it ever happened to you? You hear his lectures, you read his books, you feel that sense of urgency? That, hey, come on, gotta do something, like, hey, wake up, the world's on fire. You gotta give people this knowledge. It's not good enough to say, hey, I'm okay, I'm fine, I got my guru, I got my deity, and he's in his own bubble, he's okay too. So I'm okay, you're okay. No. You should do better than that. So Krishna has given us so many wonderful gifts. And the more you give, the more you get. The more you learn how to share it, the more you can value it and taste it yourself. It's a natural fact. Because how much can we relish? Our ability to relish and appreciate is very limited. But when we see another person's appreciation, our own taste, our own appreciation goes up. Why does everybody want to share their stuff on social media? If your experience has been so great, why do you need to post it and tell anybody? There's no need. But if you actually share it with somebody, then you think by their appreciation, my own taste will go up. It will enhance, it will increase. Although we know from a Vedic perspective, it's exactly the contrary. If you do something and then you tell a lot of people about it, then every time you tell about it, it will diminish, it will diminish, it will diminish. After a while, you'll be actually in minus if you keep on doing that, because you're milking that experience. Unless you're using it as a preaching example and you're trying to make a point to help others understand. But otherwise, you're simply depleting your own appreciation. So, more practice, more exposure. After a while, it will become quite natural. You remember the first time you were on a bicycle? Shaky, huh? But you just stick with it. You just have to keep on pedaling. After a while, you get a hang of it. Other points? Yes.
Is there a difference between chanting and book distribution?
In the ultimate sense, no, because chanting and book distribution both are spreading the holy name. But when you chant japa, it's your own spiritual practice. When you chant in kirtan, it's in a group, or you may do it on the street. But when you do book distribution, you're really consciously going out, trying to give people the opportunity. But all of them are, on a spiritual, absolute level, they're equal, and they should be engaged in. But there has to be the proper balance, the proper ratio. We're very unbalanced, so we think, okay, let's do this, but not that. Prabhupada wanted all to go on. Like Sydney is a great place to have Harinam parties, distribute books, distribute prashadam, a lot of opportunity. Okay? Yes?
Well, we were just mentioning about distractions and how we shouldn't get swayed by such distractions. How do we develop that purity or that conviction that book distribution is complete? Not simply by engaging in this activity that I can go back to God and I can take many other people back to God with me. Because you're easily, this service comes up, that service comes up, and you easily jump for that because it seems to be easy to do.
Well, there's many components to your question. You have to do many things. If you're asked to do them, you're asked to do them. So there are obviously requirements. You can't just tell your authority, this is a distraction to my service. If somebody offers you service, and you say it's a distraction to my service, there's kind of no point, because we're praying all morning. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh Radha, oh Krishna, please give me service, please give me service. And then service comes and we say, no, I don't want it, it's a distraction, I'm chanting. So we have to know what is actually distraction and what is actually the service. You have to be able to prioritize, to put things in sequence, when you do what, how you do it, what's the relationship, like that. So don't get confused. Very often it's this pick and choose mentality, cherry picking. Oh, I like this, but I don't like that. Again, devotional service is absolute. Whether you clean the toilets, or you worship the deity, or you cook the offering, or you go out on preaching, devotional service is absolute. Still, more taste, more realization, and more reciprocation on preaching and on book distribution. That's natural. Why? Because more risk. What do I risk when I clean the bathroom? That my false ego gets a little diminished? That's the only risk. Besides that, there's no risk. But when you go out on preaching, you're putting yourself out at risk. People will challenge. There will be some obstruction. Not initially, but eventually. But that's a good thing. So don't get confused and don't get distracted. If you know what is your actual purpose in life, that you want to attain Krishna's lotus feet, then you will see any event occurring and any situation as an opportunity to surrender more to Krishna. So you won't see it as a distraction. You will see it as an opportunity to surrender more to Krishna. Still, sometimes you will say, sorry, I can't handle this, or I can't do this also, or I may have to do it later on. Or as the sadhus say, I will try. Other questions? Ladies, any question? Guests? Yes?
Who will you call as a successful book distributor?
A person who is progressively cultivating his or her appreciation of the process of devotional service, of the association of other devotees, and who has given their lives to sharing these gifts with whoever they meet. That I would call a successful book distributor. Other questions?
Sometimes we hear that the more books we distribute, the more, like Prabhupada will be pleased, the more Krishna will be pleased, because more people got Krishna. And sometimes we also hear that you don't have to worry about the numbers, it's just like the way you distribute, the value attitude, your consciousness. So how do I see these two things?
They're not contradictory, they're complementary. There's competition in the spiritual world, but there's no envy. Competition means there's striving, there's endeavor, there is the desire to do better. But there's no envy. If other people do more, or they surpass you, they do better than you, there should be appreciation, there should be actual, like the Kshatriyas, they're very chivalrous, they're fighting spirit. But if their opponent is very successful, even in causing them harm, they will appreciate that. It will encourage them even more. They're not saying, oh, look at this lousy guy. They will say, yeah, wonderful, he's done great. Even if it's at their own cost, at their own expense. Our honest, heartfelt desire in training and teaching people outreach and book distribution is that one day we will actually be able to retire. Which right now we have not seen yet happen. Because people take it up, they play around with it for a little while and they drop it. There's very few who actually take it up and make it their lifetime mission, their service, and they dedicate themselves to book distribution. You see, if you want to become proficient in anything, you have to stick with it for a little amount of time. Even in the mature world, they say it takes 10,000 hours to become expert at something. 10,000 hours is 5 to 7 years. Anything you want to do, expertly, 5 to 7 years. If you're an expert in any field, whatever it is, most likely you've been doing it for 5 to 7 years. So my question to you is very simple. Are you ready to put in 5 to 7 years? To learn how to totally revolutionize people's lives? Or are you just ticking off the boxes, checking off the checklists, going through the motions? Okay, we do that too. I did that. I've been there, I've done that. Huh? Been there, done that.com. Huh? But that's a boring life, We should feel excited. We should feel, wow, this is for me. So yes, we should always do more. And yes, every endeavor is pleasing, even if there is seemingly no result. The introduction to Bhagavad Gita was spoken to 4 walls. Prabhupada was lecturing to his tape recorder. There was 0 attendance. Can you imagine you have a preaching program and nobody shows up? But he recorded the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, which we all have today, and we read it, and it's fantastic. When I joined ISKCON, or even before I joined, I was still in school. The first time I put on a dhoti, I came to the temple, they showed me how to tie the dhoti, and they said, we're going for a preaching program, and I was very excited, I was very hyped. Yeah. I'm one of the boys now, okay. I got, the look and the this and the that. So we went out and we went to a suburb of Zurich. And it was kind of like the projects. It was not a very nice place, a lot of high rises. And there was a youth center, totally bummed out place, completely derelict. And it happened that nobody showed up for that program. Because somehow the person who was supposed to organize it also didn't show up, probably forgotten about it, didn't advertise it. So all it was 6 or 7 of us that came there, all nicely dressed, and we brought the buckets of prasadam and the whole thing. We were ready to rock. And all we found was a totally derelict, destroyed situation. So what did we do? We just sat outside in the park and had a picnic and had a nice talk, and we went back to the temple. And I thought, wow, these people are far out, you know. From a material point of view, this experience was a total fiasco. It was a total failure, 100% failure. But from a spiritual point of view, we just went and had a picnic and I had a nice chat. I got to know some really interesting people. And I saw these people were not the least perturbed. They were not the least depressed. They were not the least discouraged that nobody showed up. I thought, wow, these guys are special, you know? Because if you were so convinced and so sure of yourself, and you can just carry on, even though you just had a 0% success rate, that means you're motivated by something higher than just numbers or cheers or, you know, public opinion. So Krishna is forcing us eventually to rise to the higher level. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to continue. Prabhupada one time in Los Angeles mentioned that that Krishna has a little black book and he keeps track of every book you distribute and every person you bring closer to him. So both is true. Even the endeavor counts and is validated, but Krishna also sees what is it that you have actually tried to do. Just like if you go out after this talk and you just go out over to the park and you start chanting there and you meet a little kid and that kid is lost, you know. Have you ever been lost? Has it ever happened to you? You know how much anxiety you have, how much stress you have, and how much stress probably your mother and your parents had when you got lost. Huh? So you talk to that kid and you ask him his name and where he's from, you know, like that. You look up the number, you call his mom, she comes, and you hand over that kid to that mother. You know how much appreciation, how much gratitude, how much relief you can give to that parent? Krishna says, Aham bija pata pita, I'm the seed-giving father of all living entities. If you're able to just reconnect one soul with Krishna by your endeavor, Krishna is eternally grateful. That should be good enough. If Krishna is pleased, that's all that counts. We have to check our motivations. Other points? Yes?
Many times you can be in a situation where you can push someone to take a book. Like they might be a bit, but you can encourage them, but they might not walk away with like so good feeling as opposed to, okay, next time you can take this.
So do you do it or not?
Yeah, like do you get that?
That's the question, huh? The solution is you don't push the person, you push yourself, you see. By pushing yourself, I mean you honestly try to remember Krishna. And you pray in your heart of hearts, Krishna, if I've ever been a good boy, if I've ever chanted your name, if I've ever fasted, if I've ever done anything good, please take the result of all that good activity and give it to this person here, Choshmo, because he needs it. And by you pushing yourself, you will create such a suction, you will create such an energy field that the person will just feel compelled. They feel jolted. They'll just wake up and they're like, yeah, okay, sure. But it's not that you push them, you pushed yourself, you see. Dhruva Maharaj was standing on one foot. He was a 5-year-old boy standing in Madhuvan on one foot, chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And by the potency of his mantra, by him pushing himself, the entire universe shook. Prabhupada was in Radha Damodar. The world shook from the potency of his compassion, writing these books. So yes, you must push. But start here, by pushing yourself. And then people naturally, they will respond, they will reciprocate, they will, it's a fine line. Yes, I will pick people up and carry them over the finish line, if that's what it takes. But you have to learn the art of doing it in a pleasing way, in a way that's appealing, that's acceptable. And if you see that they're resenting it, you may have to apologize. A few weeks ago, I was in front of an Indian store. There's an Indian gentleman. He just came from work. He's still wearing his tag, and he had his nice car, and his nice phone, and his nice this, and his nice that. And he was just a little, who are you and what you want? That kind of attitude. So I pushed him a little bit, because I felt his attitude was a little off. So I gave him a little bit of the straight talk. And I made him take the book. And afterwards, he kind of resented it a little bit. And he expressed it in a nice way. Because, Indian person, educated, cultured, it's not like he will just, shout at you. But he just kind of... And I just thanked him for his feedback and said, yeah, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings and if I, pushed you a little bit. I have many things to learn. I'm young at this and I'm trying to improve myself, so I thank you. And then he felt bad because he just realized what he did was not the right way to reciprocate. So, and at the end, he was actually turning quite sweet, and there was some appreciation there, because I took it on, and I didn't fight him back. So you have to know when it's time to push and when it's time to retrieve. It's a fine line. And how do you learn that balance? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. By consciously focusing our mind on the holy name of Krishna. Krishna in your heart, he will inspire you to do what it takes, to say what it required, to actually bridge that gap and to reach that heart. Ordinarily speaking, very hard to reach people. We have a hard time reaching ourselves, or to speak of people outside of us. But Krishna can bridge that gap, he can make it happen. So keep on trying. And be conscious, be Krishna conscious. Observe the results. See, how do people reciprocate? Are they trying to evade you? Are they trying to escape? Or are they trying to resist you? Or are they actually becoming attracted? If not, why not? Ask other devotees, Prabhu, please, give me feedback. How do you see myself distributing? That's why you have this Sangha. It's perfect. Okay? And be surprised, your style will evolve. You will not say and do the same things. There will be hopefully a progression, where you can just walk up to people and you say, hey, how's it going? It's for all the nice people. Are you one of the nice people? I got something good for you. Please take it. You can give something. Where you can actually be very simple, because there's just no need for all the fancy sophistication. Other points? Yes?
Well, like the small books,
Sure.
I keep with me when I'm
Sure.
sometimes late at night, and I find the drunk are more favorable. They don't really, they need your company more than they're lonely.
Sure, they're drunk.
And they take
Less
it,
resistance.
Yeah, they take it easily, but would they read it the next day? Or?
Well, that's the question, you see. Of course you can think this person will benefit from it, but I would not go for that target group as a general bracket, Of course we know that a lot of people you could classify under drunks because they're intoxicated by material life and material energy. They may not be necessarily under the influence of alcohol, but they're intoxicated by material energy.
Like
So in that sense, everybody's a drunk. But still you have to see who is more responsive. Like, if you give them books, can they appreciate? Will they reciprocate? Will they read it? Will they give something? Can they take up the process? Maybe they're a better candidate for Food for Life, like we do Food for Life in Newtown. Some people it's better, you give them prashadam. Some people it's better, they just see the chanting, the
I
kirtan.
wish they put it in a bag. You know, if they had a bag, I wish
Sure.
they put it in a bag so they don't throw it out.
Well, you're more compassionate than me. So, if you have that, magnitude of your heart, then you do it. But if you see that people are disrespectful, or they're throwing things away, or they're taking things cheaply, then you have to make some adjustments. Everybody is a little intoxicated, one way or the other. I ask people, meditation or medication? What's your favorite recreation? What are you on? Vanity, profanity, or insanity? Everybody is a little self-absorbed. So they're not the only people who are suffering. But you have to see, can they actually appreciate what it is that you want to give them? Sometimes people make more offenses, or they're disrespectful. So we should not give people the opportunity to make offenses. They're already in a difficult situation. If I can't make it better, let's not make it worse. So sometimes by keeping away from persons or situations that we cannot improve, we're actually helping by not deteriorating things. So one strength should be to be aware of our limitations, to be aware of our weaknesses. We all have weaknesses, we all have limitations, we all have attachments. So not to put ourselves in a situation of...
Yeah, I just think to the older, not
Yeah.
the young ones.
You have the experience, you have done it before, so you know Krishna is in your heart, He will guide you. But you see by the results, phalena parichite. You had another point? Somebody? Yes.
Prabhu, you mentioned in spiritual life you can take it easy, or you can push yourself to actually please Krishna and Guru. In Krishna's house, how does he see these two people? So
I don't know, you have to ask him. I don't have the inside information. Krishna says in Gita what he likes and what is appealing to him. So we should try to be recognized by Krishna. And that means we sacrifice a little bit. I heard yesterday from a Buddhist monk in China who was asked after years and years of imprisonment whether he felt any difficulty, whether he felt any fear, any danger in his years of imprisonment in China. Then he said, yes, at one point I was really afraid. So they asked him, well, what are you afraid of? And he said, at one point I was really afraid that I'm going to lose my compassion for the people who were incarcerating and torturing me. So that was his fear, that he was afraid of losing the compassion for them. So it's a very important point. We should never lose our compassion. Sometimes in the name of doing big things, or in the name of being right, or in the name of whatever, we may lose our compassion. Then it's time to reevaluate and reassess our strategy. Because very so often in the name of doing a good thing, we may step on other people. The number one reason why people have left the Krishna consciousness movement is because they have become offensive to other devotees or to other living entities, jiva hingsa. And Krishna won't tolerate it. Even if you're offensive to, to little people, Krishna will not tolerate it. And he'll just say, okay, you go in the icebox, time out. 2 minutes, okay, 5 minutes, okay, you go in the shower, you go home. Go play somewhere else. I don't want you here. You're causing too much harm to others and to yourself. So we should be aware of that. Mahaprabhu said, if you just chant Hare Krishna and you don't offend Vaishnavas, then Jai Sri Radha Gopinath ki Jai. Then you can go back to God. That's pretty good. So in the name of preaching, we should not run into the predicament of being disrespectful to other devotees because maybe they are not preaching or not distributing books, or they have a slightly different view or a different emphasis on the philosophy or on the practice of Krishna consciousness. That we start creating little groups and isms and schisms. Or that we become disrespectful to other living entities because we feel they're not responsive. They don't appreciate my greatness. They're not throwing money and flowers at me, They're speaking unkind words of. But to be Krishna conscious means that we understand not a single blade of grass moves without the sweet will of the Lord. Everything is there to bring me closer to Krishna. That is our philosophy. Last time I checked. So it's a little hard to apply it in everyday life when all that stuff happens. That's not so appealing or nice. We think, everything is good except this person or except this kind of activity or that scenario. But hey, there are no exceptions. There are no disclaimers. Any other point? Yes?
Some devotees here, they haven't gone out on book distribution.
Sure.
So can you please demonstrate how to distribute Gita?
Yeah, absolutely. When you have something that you truly value, that you truly like, you just want to give it to others. It's very natural. You got good food, good music, good association, a good movie, a good book. Whatever is most dear to you, it becomes very easy to share that with others. So if you have appreciation of the Bhagavad Gita, it becomes very easy to share Bhagavad Gita with others. You want everybody to get this, because this Gita can change people's lives. If you walk up to anybody and you ask them, my dear sir, my dear lady, would you like to change your life? Right now? Just like in 5 minutes? Do you want to completely change your life? Most likely they will not be very interested in that. Because little Jiva thinks, hey, I'm fine, I've got a good thing going here, I build my own little show here, so don't disturb me. So, how to connect with people? First of all, by connecting with Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And then you just project your positive energy. I like Krishna consciousness. It's very natural for me to share Krishna consciousness with others. I want other people to have the same kind of appreciation. Most likely, they will have a bigger appreciation for Krishna consciousness than I have. Because, I have my deficiencies. So let's give them a chance. So how to present Bhagavad Gita? Just go up to them, you greet people, you say, hi, how you going? It's not difficult, right? You say that, and people will recognize, oh, you're not from here. Okay, what's your accent? That's kind of funny way of talking. Where are you from? I just go up to them and I say, hi, I'm Nicholas from Switzerland. And I make it very personal. I make it so personal that they can't refuse me, And no matter where they're from, I either know their town, or I know their capital, or I know their language, or I know their uncle, who lives in the village next door. I make it so personal that the guy can't avoid me. Because it's too close. We're already too close here. So for me that has worked. Because it's an impersonal world. People are leading impersonal, bleak lives of desperation. So I have seen that if you put a little bit of positive personal energy out there, people pick it up. They actually appreciate it. Unless you're in Scandinavia, where it's better not to look into the eyes, or in mainland China. There's different rules for different places. But here where people are somewhat normal, they still like that, you make eye contact, you smile, you say hello, you do the handshake or the punch or whatever. And then you say, today for all the nice people from Parramatta, we're showing these books. And boom, you put the book in their hand. Put the book in the hand. And if you just hold it out nicely, people will take it, because that's what hands do, they grab stuff. And then you say books on yoga meditation teaches you how to get free from stress. Have you heard of stress before? You ask a few questions. They answer. You ask a few more questions, they answer. But it's not just a multiple choice questionnaire. You just take them on that little road where you want to go. We were at a car wash in California. Vaisha asked the lady, what kind of a dog is that? That's a nice dog. She answered, I just walked to the car to get the Gita. Because I know if she answers that question, she will walk away with Bhagavad Gita. I see it coming. She doesn't see it coming. Because I've seen it 1,000,000 times. But she doesn't know. Because the fish thinks, oh, there's a hook. It looks like breakfast time. Chunk, and then they're hooked. So a question mark is like a hook. You can hook people by question marks. How are you? How are you feeling? This, that, so many questions. Open-ended questions. You engage them in a conversation. Then I ask them, have you seen this before? Do you know what this is? Do you know what it means? Most of them say no. Sometimes they may say yes. You say, that's great, that's wonderful. You turn it around. You say, Gandhi read it every day. He still got shot, but it did him some good. And the all liked it, Break the ice. Have some humor. Say something that you think is funny. They may not think it's funny, but you think it's funny. Laugh about yourself, Just break the ice. Make conversation. Then you may show the Sanskrit, you may show the pictures. I just wait for the punchline. I just wait for when I can see there's an opening, person connects. Like that boy yesterday who was going for the gym. Karma was his punchline. So karma was what it was. That's it. No, go no further. Don't talk anything else. This is the textbook on karma. Everything you ever wanted to know about karma is in this book. And it's true. Everything you wanted to know about yoga, about success in life, about stress, about happiness, about love, about relationship, about communication, commitment, everything is in the Gita. Do you believe that? Have you read the Gita? It's a rhetorical question. You know what I'm trying to get at. If you're convinced that this is the best thing you can give this person, then they will actually get it. They will sense it. Yeah, okay, I'm taking it. And then it's just sensible that they will give something in return. Something is just take it, everybody gives something, and sometimes it's a little more elaborate, depending on the situation and on the discourse. The main thing is relevance. Is it relevant to me? What's in it for me? People want to know 3 things. Who are you? What's this book? What's in it for me? Sometimes only number 3. What's in it for me? So write down in 1 word or less, what is it that you want to convey to people? What is it that you want to give people? I tell people, I'm a monk. I'm teaching happiness. Have you heard of happiness? Everybody talks about it. What is it? How do you experience it? This book helps you to reconnect with that happiness. It's already there in your heart. Stop looking, stop roaming, stop running. Just pause. We're too damn busy doing so many things. Little things. You can say so many things, but the main point is make that connection. Make it personable. Once people actually sense this person has accepted me, this person has appreciated me, they will not want to disappoint you. It's as simple as that. But if we are nonchalant, impersonal, arrogant, aloof, evasive, or all these other adjectives, you take the whole gamut of emotions, people think, I got enough misery in my own life. Why should I worry about you? Huh? So and here in Oz, the mood is, if you're having a good time, and you really want me to get this, okay, give everybody a fair go. All right, fair enough, I'll check it out. Because that's the national psychology, and you can use it in Krishna's service, in Krishna's favor. So, it's a great place to share Krishna consciousness. Let us take this opportunity. Let us not take it for granted. The whole world comes to Australia as tourists, as students, as immigrants, as residents, as whatever. So, it's a great opportunity. But it means we have to get out of our own little bubble, out of our own little world of what we think is life or is Krishna consciousness. And we have to learn how to appreciate other cultures, other people. We had in Ottawa, Canada Day, I met a Bengali speaking person from Bangladesh. And 95%, 98% they're Muslims, So what do? You just ask him, are you doing Ramadan? And he said, yes. I said, that's wonderful. That's fantastic. Can you please give a donation? And he gave me $20. And I asked him, do you have any Hindu friends? He said, yes, many. I said, okay. I gave him the Bhagavad Gita. And he was very appreciative. Not because I wanted to push him or convert him or show him that what he was doing was inferior. No, because I appreciated him. Little Jiva is looking for appreciation. Is looking for acceptance, for validation. Are you ready to give people a little bit of appreciation? But if you wear that big hat, people will get scared, So you have to kind of dress the part and also project the part. In the temple, you get away with anything, They'll say, okay, it's just another punk kid brahmachari. It's okay. But you should, present and project and represent. We're representing Prabhupada. We're representing Krishna here. It's not an impossible thing to do, but we should try our best. Is that okay? First, you got to have a Gita. How many of you have Gitas? I don't mean the one that's in your library, over your bed, that's been sitting there for the last 17 and a half years, collecting dust. I'm talking about the Gita in your handbag, in your purse. Do you have books to distribute? There's got to be books in each and every bag. Otherwise, how will it ever happen? Krishna has given us this opportunity, but if I'm not ready, I won't see the magic. I want to see the magic. I want to feel what Sanjay felt. He felt ecstasy, remembering Krishna's dialogue with Arjuna. When was the last time you felt ecstasy in Krishna consciousness? You can all ask yourself that question. Little Jiva wants enjoyment. We want that ecstasy. If we don't get it here, we'll go and look for it somewhere else. Huh? There's a lot of nectar in the Bhagavad Gita. So it's the best gift that we can give to people. It will really change people's lives. And we know so many countless stories of people who got a Gita, had a Gita, found a Gita, stole a Gita, and their life changed. Their life changed dramatically. If you believe that, you just want everybody to have the Gita. It's as simple as that. And you won't stop. You won't take no for an answer. Any other questions or points? So it's a team effort. Please build your team. 5.2 million people. There's a lot of living entities around here. Right now, we don't have that much exposure and we don't have that much impact. Because we're not yet really sure what is the game plan and what is the vision of the acharyas. We're still on survival mode. Oh, whatever gets me through the day, man, Whatever it takes, just, from Sunday feast to Sunday feast. So, once we grow up and we evolve, we upgrade our consciousness from Krishna consciousness 1.0 to 2.0 to 3.0, we get the upgrade. To the degree that we surrender, to the degree we'll get empowered. There's no limitations. If you want to have impact and change people's lives, then let us work together to give people the positive alternative of Krishna consciousness. So because of the tireless work of so many devotees, there are many opportunities. There's the temple, there's the Govindas, there's the Lotus Room, there's so many outreach programs, so many activities are going on. New temple project coming up. There's a lot of opportunity. Are we seeing it as a distraction or are we seeing it as an opportunity? Are we ready to become empowered? Are we training ourselves and others to raise to the occasion? Or are we feeling overwhelmed and insecure? That's the question. Everybody has to answer that for themselves. For me, Sankirtan is a way of life. It's what I've learned, it's what attracted me, it's what sustained me, it's what kept me sane in Krishna consciousness. Because from a material perspective, many things don't make sense in this world. Have you ever noticed? There's many things that don't add up, that don't make sense in this world. So if you want that missing link, that factor that will make things work, I suggest you try Sankirtan. To be absorbed in the holy name and in the sharing, the propagation of the holy name by giving people one of these books. What do you think? Good idea? Yeah? It's easy. It's fun and easy. It's not complicated. Any kid can do it. But because we're so complicated and we're so out of touch with reality, it seems very difficult. It's the most natural thing. Mahaprabhu, he would just go out into the town and villages. They would just all chant. The whole town comes out. Everybody's just getting into chanting. It's natural. Everybody wants to sing. Everybody wants to dance. It's a natural response of the heart. Last question. Yes.
What if you basically sell the book, they want the book, but they have no actual cash on them? Where do you go? What do you recommend?
I recommend you get a little app on your phone. There's Square Up, there is PayPal, you can take credit and debit. You know, these little toys you plug in, you swipe the card, you punch the amount. Everybody has that nowadays. The food truck has it, the vendors have it, so you get those. Investigate whatever works here in Oz. In America it's Square Up, in Canada also. Company takes 2.7%. The rest goes straight into whatever account you put there. Or you walk them to the next ATM. Or you distribute next to a bank. That makes it easier. But everybody carries some cash. If people are actually sincere, they really want the book, I give them a small book for free. Krishna is no poor man. It always comes back. Invest a little. Put something out there, you know. But it happens over and over and over and over and over again, and then you see the person goes to the restaurant, he goes to the shop, he goes spending, and just before he told you I got no money, then that means he wasn't really sincere. He wasn't really, you know, I was not able to compel this person that there was some value, there was some substance in what I had to show to them, that they would be ready or willing to give me anything for it. So maybe I have to refine my presentation a little bit. Sometimes people are scared. They think this stuff looks really costly, you know, unless I give like a 20, this won't do the trick, you know. And they'd be surprised that we're ready to let these books go for really cheap. Because we're not in it to make a profit. So, basically I tell people anything you can give is good. Just, you know, you just may have to adjust the book, the size of the book to what he's willing to, you know, contribute. But people have money and they're ready to spend. If they feel it's valuable. If they feel there's something in it for me. Of course, if you ask school children, you know, they may or may not have any money. But depending on who you talk to, it's really not about the money. Is it meaningful? Is there value for me? Srila Prabhupada was once in Delhi and he gave a presentation on Bhagavad Gita, and there was one man and he said, why are you charging for these books? Krishna spoke this knowledge for free. Why are you asking money? So Prabhupada said, yeah, Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita for free. Where did he speak Bhagavad Gita? The man said, Kurukshetra. Prabhupada said, yes. So, Kurukshetra to Delhi, 50 rupee transport charge. And the man said, okay, I'll pay for the transport charge. So, he gave him 50 rupees. So we tell them, look, this is not for me. This is for you. Because, I mean, Indian people will know that when you give donation, you get much more in return. But for Western people, Western mindset, we tell them, we're giving you an opportunity. By making a contribution, you actually get the benefit to understand this book. Because this is the tradition, the reciprocation. So anything you can give, just give something. And sometimes we accept, a coin, a pen. Vaisheshika Prabhu had a young couple, and they were very interested in the Bhagavad Gita. They wanted it real bad, but they had no money. And they went through all their pockets. He said, anything you can give, just give something. And they said, I got nothing. I really got nothing. He said, okay, look, anything. So then the man came up and he brought out this lighter. It was kind of ornate lighter. Probably they were using it as drug paraphernalia, for their smokes. So the man said, I got that. And Vaisheshika Prabhu said, I'll take it, So, okay, they gave it. And then the lighter was really meaningful to them, because another friend came back later and said, hey, you took that lighter, from my friends. So, but then Vaisheshika Prabhu, he took that lighter and he washed it as well as he could. And every time he's doing puja for his Shalagram Shila and his Govardhan, he puts a few extra drops of water on that lighter and he lights the ghee lamp and the incense that he's offering to the Lord, and he's meditating. This couple is getting the benefit from this puja. He gave them the Gita for a lighter. But now they get the benefit because he's doing the puja on behalf of them. So be careful when you give gifts to devotees. When the devotee was going door to door, and the man was not interested, so the devotee said, anything you give, a quarter, a nickel, a dime, a dollar, anything, I'll take it. You get the book. So the man, he said, anything? The devotee said, anything. So the man went back into the kitchen and he told his wife, give me 1 cent. She said, 1 cent for what? He said, this is monk at the door. He gave me this book. I want to give him 1 cent. So she said, show me that book. So she looked at the book and she said, you stupid man, you want to give him 1 cent for this beautiful book? You go give him $50. So the man came back with $50. He said, my wife said I should give $50. So sometimes you'd be surprised if you're ready to just give unconditionally. People will reciprocate. And sometimes they won't. So be it. So be it. Krishna is no poor man. He owns everything. So, we're his sons and daughters. We should not feel that there is any scarcity. There's nothing lacking. I ask the people, even if they say I have no money, I ask them, are you going to read it? If they say yes, they get a small book for free. Not a Gita, they'll get the small book for free. If you want the Gita, bring me something. I want to see something, okay? Okay. So, Sankirtan is exciting. Try to do it as much as possible. Carry books with you, talk to people, ask them questions. Just be personable. That's what people are looking for, It's a very boring life. It's a boring world. But excitement comes when you connect with other people and Krishna is involved. There's unlimited opportunities. And be surprised. The magic will happen in your own lives, perceptibly or imperceptibly. But your life will never be the same. Are you ready for that? I think we all need to upgrade our life a little bit, because Krishna consciousness is the positive alternative. So, this is a special time of the year, Purushottam Mas, and it's also 50th year anniversary for Prabhupada. came to the West. So we should try to do a little bit. To do our little bit. It may be only a little bit, but we can all try to do our little bit. And that's all we can every day. Try our little bit. And you will see how Krishna will reciprocate. So we'll go out this afternoon. Okay. And there's more opportunities also in the future. Don't think it's just a one-time everything or nothing. It's an ongoing process. The surrendering process. And it's called sweet surrender. Because right now it's voluntary. At the time of death it's not voluntary. But if we learn now to surrender a little bit, it will make it much easier to develop our faith and our trust in Krishna. So we can actually let go. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So whatever your job, whatever your service, whatever your background, your social status, your education, your age, irregardless of that, just have Prabhupada's books. And whenever you meet a person that you feel there is an opening, there's a window of opportunity, put Krishna in there. And you will see how Krishna can just change the entire landscape. It is possible. We've experienced it in major ways. So to see that and to become part of that experience is very endearing. It's very refreshing. So thank you for your kind attention and hospitality. Excited to meet all of you and to see you in action and to see what this experiment of Sydney has in store. This is just the beginning. This ample opportunity. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.